Hey guys, welcome to Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. My name is Berj, and we got the iPhone 6s versus the iPhone 7. So, let's get started. Alright, first thing first, the iPhone 7 is Apple's latest iteration of the Apple iPhone. The 6s was last year's model. Now, in terms of looks, both of these devices are almost identical. I'll show you the differences in a moment. You can see both have 4.7-inch Retina displays, rendering about 300, or actually rendering approximately 326 pixels per inch. Now, in terms of physically, of course, you have the space gray model here and the gold model here. They also come in rose gold, silver, jet black for the 7, and space gray would be for the 6s, and then matte black as well for the 7. Okay, on the sides you could see you have the volume rocker with the vibrate key. On this side you have the power button and the SIM card tray, and the 7 SIM card tray is actually water resistant since it is a water resistant phone. 6s is technically not, but it's a little more water resistant than the iPhone 6. Up top nothing, and then you could see the backs a little bit different as well. So on the 6s you have the antennas right below the camera and above it, and on the bottom you could see the iPhone S logo. Okay, whereas with the 7 you have the antenna up top and a little bit of slightly bigger camera, 12 megapixel on the 7, with 4K recording, optical image stabilization, and you see the antenna on the bottom, and you don't see the 7 under the iPhone logo, just says iPhone, right? Okay, both 7.1 millimeters with a more durable frame, or more durable housing, so that it isn't as prone to bending a la the original iPhone 6. Again, practically identical in terms of their size and physically. Okay, now in terms of specs, the iPhone 7 is rocking an A10 processor. Comes in 32, 128, and 256 gigabyte variants. You got 2 gigs of RAM, 12 megapixel rear camera, 7 megapixel front facing camera. Of course, you have the pressure sensitive home button, which is also Touch ID. You have 3D touch on the screen. On the front you could see the ear speaker, proximity sensor, and again no headphone jack to speak of. It's got basically, again, the same build quality. So in terms of build quality, it's not much different. The 6s, on the other hand, has the 5 megapixel front facing camera with the Touch ID sensor on the bottom, still the conventional clicky home button. Also has the 3D touch, A9 processor, 2 gigs of RAM, comes in 16, 64, and 128 gigabyte variants. So the 7 actually does come in at 256 gigabyte. They ditched the 64, went with 32. And same situation with the front, you have the proximity sensor and all that good stuff. Now the rear cameras, just right off the bat, you could see the iPhone 6s versus the 7. The lens on the 7 is slightly bigger, protrudes out a little bit more as well. Okay, now in terms of software, I believe I'm running iOS 9 or some variant of 9 on this. Yep, 9.3.3, whereas the iPhone 7 ships with iOS 10. Now you can update the 6s and 6s Plus to iOS 10 if you like. Okay, so right off the bat you can see differences with iOS 10. Okay. Spotlight search. Notification bars, both have their widgets. Okay, you can see the notification tab here on the 6s. You can swipe away notifications if you'd like. Do the same here. The control centers look different as well. Okay, you can have the control center here. You can't customize it on either of them. Swipe over, you could see my music tab. Okay, just in terms of their home screens, both very similar. But one area where the iPhone differs, of course, or the iPhone 7 differs, is the home button. So it's a pressure sensitive home button basically. Okay, so you can see if I was to push down hard on it and get Siri, if I was to just slightly tap on it, it takes me home. Of course, double tap takes you to multitask, which you can also do by holding the side right here. And that's also available on the 6s because it also has pressure touch. And apps are going to correlate this into their applications. Of course, double tap without having to do anything. Minimizes the screen ever so slightly. Okay, now the same can be said here for the 6s. If I double tap, I can minimize the screen. Double tap, I get my multitasking. Long press, I get Siri. Now, again, one area where this is different is, of course, But the A10 is going to be faster than the A9. But just look at how quickly the 7 exits out of apps. It's literally immediate. So in terms of performance speed, you guys can see I'm running tests here. Just go to App Store, exit out. So exiting out of apps on the 7 is fast. I mean, it's really the fastest I've seen on any phone. Okay. Alright, now you can see that the 32GB variant for the 7 comes with GarageBand, Keynote, Pages, iMovie, iTunes U, Numbers. And again, I just want to showcase the performance speed of this device because it's absolutely phenomenal how fast this thing is. I mean, look how quickly I'm opening and closing out of applications. Okay. And they both sync with your iWatch seamlessly. Okay. And again, I could just double tap, close out of them all. And also one area where the home button has differed is on the lock screen. You can see you have the lock screen widgets. You could swipe over to get the camera, and then if you just push down on it, you can get Siri. It says press home to open. Now of course you could set up your fingerprint if you like. Whereas on the 6S, the lock screen is conventional. So you have your camera and then basically swipe to open. Okay, now in terms of performance speed on the 6S, you can see it's still a fast phone, but not nearly as fast as the 7. And you guys saw that as I was using it. Okay, so performance with the A10 is phenomenal. Again, same, you can multitask, close out of application. So again, you have the widgets basically. You can see it even says it on the bottom.
Audio, video.
So you can download, customize that if you'd like. The notification bar, which is a little bit different again than iOS 9. Okay, of course. The notification bar, which is a little bit different again than iOS 9. Okay, of course. You have the ability to remove widgets, add widgets, and of course your notifications come here. The ability to remove widgets, all that good stuff. Add widgets, and of course your notifications come here. You can reply to them, X out of them, and all that good stuff. Okay, now you see the home button here, right? The home button is no longer clicky. It's a force touch home button or 3D touch. So basically, you can push down on it. It's a force touch home button or 3D touch. So basically, you can push down on it and. Okay. Both very responsive pinch zoom. Alright, and again you can just click here if you want to multitask on both these devices. Now again, I'm running iOS 9 on the 6S, so you can hear the clicky sound a little bit different. Almost sounds Windows Phone-esque on the 7. Now both of them have the ability to attach photos, of course emojis, voice to text. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing today? Question mark. Do you want to go hang out? Question mark. Actually, looking at the screens now, the hue on the 7 is actually a little bit warmer than the 6S. Okay, both are at the same brightness, by the way. Now, here with the iOS 10, you have the ability to add, and this is not just a feature for the iPhone 7, but a feature for iOS 10. Okay, so it's not going to send it, but it's basically a feature here called Digital Touch. Okay. And of course, you also have the ability to send these GIFs. You can download more music, photos as well. You can attach, of course. Emojis are there. Okay. So that's more of an iOS 10 feature than an iPhone 7 feature. Okay, now in terms of cameras, now both of these cameras are phenomenal quality. Okay, no one's disputing that, but the iPhone 7 is literally the depth of the detail is that much better, or at least in my opinion is that much better. Let me go ahead and show you guys here the iPhone 7. Okay, zooming in here, 100% zoom. Zooming out, I want to show you guys how bright the flash is. Alright, square panorama video slow-mo. Of course, you also have the filters. Okay, and then of course you have the front-facing camera, which it's been upped here to 7 megapixel. Alright, this also has its own flash that basically just brightens up the screen. Okay. Fantastic quality on the front-facing camera, no doubt about it. Here's the flash photo. Here's at 100% zoom. Okay. And of course the gallery, you have the ability to share photos, edit them, utilize, of course, live photos, which if you have that enabled, you can see. And you can share it by utilizing this feature as well here. Okay. Alright, looking at the 6S camera. Okay. Front-facing camera, 5 megapixel. Quality still great, not as good. Also has that flash feature. Rear camera here with 100% zoom. Definitely not as good quality with 100% zoom. Let's go ahead and look at the flash here. I'm actually going to do the flash here at the same time for both devices. Okay. Here's some of the quality of the photos that we took. Also live photo, so you can click on it. There's 100% zoom. There's a flash photo that I just took. Front-facing photos. If we go to all photos, of course, you also have the ability to share them, edit them.
This is sample 1080p video with the iPhone 7. Alright, we're doing 100% zoom. Wow, that 100% zoom looks really clean. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. That'll be $50 to put me on.
Right? Is that all you're asking for? Alright, again, 100% zoom.
Wow.
Yeah, the quality's pretty good. Alright, let's just go ahead and move around here. Again, this is at 100% zoom. This is at regular. Okay, let's just do a quick turn around here. Alright, there you guys go. 1080p sample video with the iPhone 7.
I'm going to be showing some 1080p video here with the 6S.
Sample video here's at 100% zoom. Once again 100% zoom. Alright, sample video here. Success. Right, there you guys go.
Now in terms of the camera department, the iPhone 7 is definitely an improvement that you're going to notice. I definitely notice it, so it's there. I mean, it's hard not to notice it, especially on the front-facing camera. Okay, go into the settings here. Again, it's iOS 10 settings with the iPhone 7 flavor. You can see the sounds and haptic feature here on the iPhone 7, which they've added for the home button, Siri, Touch ID and passcode, wallet, and all the app settings. Same with the 6S. Okay. Wallpapers, they've added a few new wallpapers. Nothing major. Both still have the quote-unquote live wallpapers. Now really the main difference between these two is the speed of the 7, and of course the home button, the headphone jack. But really the main difference is the CPU and the GPU. The CPU is just, I mean, this is a fast phone. It's an absolutely blazing fast device. I mean, you could see just entering and exiting out of apps again, which I showcased a little bit earlier. And you know, some people are, you know, not crazy about the home button on the 7, but I actually like it. It's grown on me. I mean, as long you'll get used to it. It's something that you probably do have to get adjusted to if you're used to the clickiness of the iPhone 6s and prior models of the iPhone with their home button, but it's something that I'm pretty sure you'll get used to pretty quickly. So overall, is the iPhone 7 an upgrade from the 6s? If you have a 6s, yes, it's an upgrade, absolutely, but is it an upgrade that you should make? You probably just recently bought the 6s, right? It's barely been out for a year. So I would say wait till the next iteration S model. It would make sense for you to wait. Of course, there are people who want the latest and greatest right away, but I don't think it warrants enough of an upgrade to make that jump. I still think the 6s is a phenomenal phone. There's really nothing wrong with it. Now, one area where I wish the 7 would have updated it or upgraded is the bezel on the front. They can definitely do with a little less bezel at this point, but I'm pretty sure that's something that'll come along with maybe the 7s or most likely the 8. Less bezel is always good. Other than that, both devices, again, look very similar. Similar design cues. The back is a little bit different. The cameras, obviously. So, in that regard. Also, of course, they use different components, different batteries. In terms of battery life, the 7 has given me pretty solid battery life. At the same time, the 6S has always given me pretty solid battery life. So both of them pretty decent. I mean, you'll get a full day's use as long as you're not a heavy user. If you're a heavy user, definitely going to have to charge it midday or sometime throughout the day. But in terms of just overall battery use, it's been pretty solid thus far. I mean, you can see I'm still at 71%. I just took my SIM card out of it to put in the 6S, but I'm still at 71%, and I haven't charged this thing since the morning. So pretty good, pretty good. Again, is it an upgrade? That's the question that a lot of people are asking themselves. No, I think if you have the 6S, you should be perfectly content with it. But if you're one of those people who has to have the latest and greatest, you want a better camera, the new home button features, and a much faster phone, yes, much faster. To me, that's much faster, because if you compare the 6 and the 6S, it's not that big of a difference in terms of speed, but these two, there is that big difference. So if you want a speed increase, new upgraded camera, home button, yeah, I would say go with the 7. Otherwise, you should be perfectly content with your 6S, so really no issues there. All right, there you guys go. The iPhone 6S versus the iPhone 7. Just wanted to do a comparison of the two. I mean, they're very similar, so I didn't want to go through every single individual app. I know a lot of you guys want to see what looks different and what is different, and really there isn't much different. If you have iOS 10 on your phone, it's basically iOS 10 with, you know, all the new iPhone 7 features. So there you guys have it. So stay tuned for more comparisons with the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus. Thank you guys for watching Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. We also repair phones. So this is a phone right here that you probably don't want to break right now because the part is fairly expensive. So try to stay away from dropping your phone. Get a case, maybe a tempered glass. Otherwise, we do repair phones, so I'll leave my contact info in the description below. If you have any issues with any device, I will help you repair it. Thank you guys for watching Technibility. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Go ahead and subscribe if you already aren't. And have a nice day.